The village of Muckhart in Clackmannanshire lies near the crossroads between Perthshire and Fife at the foot of the Ochil Hills. It was once a hamlet, with the surrounding land used for sheep and cattle grazing by local farmers. Its most famous building is the coaching inn on the main road that has served the village for over 200 years and which sits in the shadow of Seamab, the highest hill in the district. A little-known fact is that the door of the inn sits at the same height as the top of the Wallace Monument at Causeway Head near Stirling. Over the years, many tales have been told over an ale or two as travellers made their way to or from Stirling, Perth or Dunfermline. But what follows is a less well-known story about the fairy folk and how they helped a local farmer in his time of need. According to an old Victorian lady who lived in the parish of Muckhart many hundreds of years ago, there was a terrible drought, which turned the lush green fields and vibrant Ochil Hills to being as brown as dock leaves and drier than they'd been for many years. In those days, she said, there was a gentle farmer, and he had an association with the fairy folk. Everything was quite withered, and the drought appeared to many like a judgment, so much so that some people fasted, while others prayed, while many were thrown into a state bordering on despair. The streams and wells had nearly all dried up. This drought lasted for 2 months, in which time a great many fine cows died, and likewise sheep, pigs and hens, and due to this loss, the small farmers were reduced to a state of abject poverty. The fairies did all in their power to assist those in distress, but it was strange that their rings and hillocks never suffered in the slightest from the heat. On the contrary, they remained as fresh and green as ever. During these desperate times, there was a man called Alexander Crawford, known as Sandy, who had helped the fairies on several occasions in the past, and well can those folk repay a benefit, and well can they revenge an injury, he told his friends and neighbours. He was highly regarded, and had the reputation of being the best man in the district at the time, as he could never bear to see his fellow creatures want for anything. As long as he had a bawbee to spare, an old Scottish halfpenny, he never held it in his hand long, but gave it to those worse off than himself. His 3 cows had perished in the drought, and being what he depended on to support his wife and family, it was no wonder he became so dejected. As he was sitting one night by the side of his fire, after all the family had gone to bed, he started planning 1,000 schemes on how he might be able to keep his family going, when a strange thing happened. A hugger or purse fell down the chimney and landed at his feet. He lifted it up, and finding it very heavy, opened it. He was astonished to see it was full of gold and silver pieces. At the bottom was a small piece of paper, with the inscription, "Tak the gowd and buy a coo. You've minded us, we've minded you." It was the wee folks' way of repaying his kindness towards them by giving him money to buy replacement animals. The next morning, Crawford trudged away, without telling his wife anything about the money, to a rich farmer in nearby Kinross, where he used some of the coins to buy 2 fine cows, which he then brought home. However, in buying them, he had to think about how he would keep them, and found himself back where he started. The fairies soon settled the matter, for they told him to drive the cows to the dell in the parish of Muckhart, where a couple of pretty cottages once stood in their little well-kept gardens. Running through the middle of the dell was the Holborn, a small stream that rose in the Ochils. At the time of the drought, though, it was covered in rushes, whin and briars. Crawford knew the area well and was going to laugh at the proposal, but afraid he would offend those who'd been so kind to help him, he drove the 2 cows away to the dell. If he'd been surprised at the present of the gold and silver, he was dumbfounded at the changed appearance of the dell. Every bush and weed had disappeared, and in their stead sprang up a good crop of the richest and finest grass. The 2 cows went there week after week, month after month, and still there was no sign of the grass withering or going bare. Each of the cows yielded between 16 and 18 pints of milk a day, and the butter made from it far exceeded expectation. The fame of the milk spread far and wide, and folk came from all parts to buy it. His neighbours, however, began to grow jealous of Sandy, and in a short time he had many enemies who thought they would take their cows to the dell, hoping for good grazing and a good return, just like Sandy. Not a single cow but Sandy's gave a drop of milk. The drought finally ended, and the rain showers returned, so the land began to recover what it had lost. Sandy remained prosperous and managed to save some money from his business venture. When he died, he left his wife and family in good circumstances. He was mourned by all who knew him, and by those who'd bought his milk and butter, which continued to be the best in the area long after his death. His wife died shortly after him, but their children were left well provided for and carried on the business. As for the dell, it still has the same appearance as when Sandy had first led his cows to it, or so at least the legend says. If you enjoyed this episode of Scotland's History, please like, comment and subscribe. Until next time, thank you for watching.